friend Jen from
Here we
Virginia. She'll
go.
be in the chat.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Illumination Porter. Welcome, Diana, aka Oil Painter. we
Hi,
are going
Valerie.
Hi. We're going to discuss March's astrology because it is so massive. I don't even think we'll even be able to get into the details, but just so you know, so we all know what's coming up, because this really has a lot to do with how humanity is going to go forward, and that is where we come in, because of course we have to be set and stable in ourselves to be of service during ascension. So this is going to help everyone,
The unfolding.
the unfolding. Exactly. Thank you.
It's a delicate piece of linen. It's
Mm.
an antique. Our grandmother tatted it, and we don't want to put a hole in it, but we have to look for stains before we can put it on the bride's table, right?
Right.
So we have to open it carefully, treat each stain separately, because we can't just throw it in the washing machine. Washing machines hadn't been invented when she made this thing, you know?
Mm.
This is the truth. I have a couple of those. So, anyway.
And we need to, yeah, it is a very delicate time, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's so much change in the air, and everything we're talking about tonight isn't going to change in a day or even at that moment, but the combination of all the changes in March are going to be profound, and it is going into the future how we are going to be presented with certain energies, don't you think?
Right. Oh, yeah. It's these changes with big planets, the planets that are farther away, the planets that we do our set our goals by,
Yes.
where we get the visions of the future. The personal planets that are closer to the Earth, well, that's a rapid change. You know, every couple days something different is happening because there's a new aspect just from the moon alone.
Yeah.
Let alone the rising sign changes, throughout the course of the day, every 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 15-20 minutes. So those are what we call the bread and butter planets, right? That's how we make our living. That's how we get through the day. But the bigger planets that are farther out is how we set a goal to reach for.
Right. And this is well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We had the Virgo full moon on the 7th. That was making sure we were cleaned out, that we were looking at the details, right?
That was Virgo is I analyze.
Mm.
So that's what we were supposed to be doing at that moment. But at the same moment, something else that was very big happened.
Yeah, it did.
And that was
That was
Saturn went into Pisces. And that's big, because Pisces is about keeping it loose, keeping it wide open and free flowing, being in a state of delusion, illusion if it wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Pisces controls the feet, right? Mm-hmm. And what do the feet do? They carry the weight of the entire body upon them.
Yeah.
So when things get troublesome for them, what do they want to do? Jump in the water and float around. Now we have Saturn coming. And what is Saturn about? He's about foundations, right?
Time, yeah, time and
time. Father Chronos,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And he comes with a cup because, he doesn't want to just lap it off the shore like the rest of us. He thinks we should keep it in a chalice. So he brings it in a chalice because you can't hold water in your hand. It's
Mhm.
not about getting my hand wet, but it's about getting it to my mouth.
Mhm.
So we're going to see a loosening of Saturn's grip,
Right. Yeah.
you know?
Thankfully. Yeah.
Right. And then we're going to see that expansion of Jupiter, of Pisces rather, also moving out, but paying attention to his father Saturn. Because at one time, Saturn controlled Pisces
Mhm.
before Neptune was discovered, before Jupiter. Because when Jupiter was discovered, Jupiter was co-ruler with Saturn on Pisces.
Mhm. And so what's Neptune? So Neptune is like God, right? That. So Pisces is like here you get your intuition, and it's connecting you to God, to the higher source of all that is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pisces is as deep as the oceans, deep as space, and he
Right.
has all those attributes inside of him. But Saturn wants to like kind of get him into a direction, right? Which is very hard for Pisces is to
Mm-hmm.
go into a direction. But but this is like a spiritual responsibility if you think about it. You got to go in and you got to
Oh,
say,
perfect.
what's connected
Perfect.
to my heart, right? What
Right.
means something to me? How do I want to proceed on anything in this world if I don't know what I'm connected to in my heart, what my heart is longing for, what it would love, to
Mm-hmm.
be a part of. So Saturn can help us because this is a spiritual channel and we're all spiritually based beings here trying to figure out how do we fit in this world. Is get busy, go do it, this and that. Well, we got these energies coming in that are making it more accepting of people like us. Don't you think?
Yes. Saturn is, and Capricorn is the I use energy. I use a receptacle to hold the glass of water that I want to drink because if I put it in my hand, I can't hold it.
Mm-hmm.
So Pisces is the dream. Neptune is the dreamer. The believer.
Yes. I got so many
The
papers here.
faith. The faith.
And that's so that kind of starts out right. That those two things, that full moon and Virgo full moon, and an hour later Saturn going into Pisces, kind of
Right.
starts out our month. But then, okay, now before, let me
Well,
back up a couple weeks because
right.
before Saturn moved to Pisces, he was 29 degrees Aquarius, along with Pluto being 29 degrees of Capricorn. Pluto changes on the 23rd of March, but those are critical degrees that we've been living under. And I don't know if everybody else is feeling this, but you're being confronted with what's not working. What's
It was like
struggle.
when they were both sitting at that 29 degrees. If you think back to what it was like when they were conjunct in Capricorn in
2020.
2020, 2021, when they're back and forth with each other,
Mhm.
it's kind of that same energy. They're 30 degrees apart, but they're both at 29 degrees. So they're working as if they were conjunct.
Right,
They're
right.
on the same plane. They were in the same hemisphere. They're right there. Hi. Well, now Saturn's moved on, and Pluto's going. Wait, where did he go? I
Mm,
can't see him. He's over the horizon. He's crested somewhere.
mm.
Yeah, right. And now they're not going to have those kind of squaring aspects
Thank goodness.
because
So, right,
Saturn moves so much faster than Pluto.
right. But don't you think that's a good thing? Because squares are difficult. And
Oh
we
yeah.
can all see what happened in 2020, December 2020, right? Was it 2019? I'm sorry. We had the Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, and a few months later, we were in a pandemic. So this is kind of the end of all that energy because Jupiter's moved on. Saturn has moved on into Aquarius, where he was gathering more information on how to go forward. Because let's just say this about astrology: it's constant change, but it has different flavors to the energy of that change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to figure out Aquarius rules like humanitarian, uh, um, out of the box ideals, things that uh, are what do we want to strive for, right? So we've been doing that. Now we're Saturn and Pisces. Pluto's at the end of the Capricorn. Hi Ron, hi Lisa. I'm just gonna say hi real quick. Hi Perrette. Hi Akila. I'm so sorry I say your name wrong, sweetie. Akila. Okay. But it isn't it we've been like, this is why we called this the unfolding, because since 2020 we've had different flavors of energy. We all knew, well, astrologers knew that this month in March was coming, and this was going to be the start. It's just the start, just the baby steps really for the next couple of years. But it's a collective thing. How do we want to move forward together? Well, us here, we want to move forward based on our heart, because we're heart-centered, soul-centered, spiritual beings. We want everyone to live in a state of
Community.
community, right?
Common unity.
Yes,
Community.
yes. And we're working towards it. And the more of us that understand, and I think everyone here is pretty much has a good idea of what their heart is wanting to um, create, their next step in life. But knowing that you have certain energies backing you and working with you while we step forward into this new territory. Look, Pluto has not been in Aquarius since 243 years ago. That, you know, and what
That's a lot.
happened then? What happened then? French
Well,
Revolution.
right, and we can see it playing out all around the world.
Yeah.
It's that's where it was for us. That's where it was for France.
Right.
That's where it was
This
for
is
Russia.
done. Yeah.
That's where it was for England.
Mhm.
So it's basically casting those same energies.
Yeah.
Is it exactly the same as it was? No, but technology has brought us to a different place.
Mm.
Life itself, 250 years of more life on this planet has changed things for us.
Yeah.
Like if I had to rely on doing the math to do astrology, I'd still not be doing it.
I would never.
Thank goodness. 1977, my mother gave me a little handheld computer that was round. It's made by Coleco. I still have it. It still works. It is just as precise now as it was back then. It came with a little code book so you could decipher what the codes meant. And it's exactly as the astrology apps that we have now that give you a person's blueprint, a person's chart. So once I had that, I was in business. It's like, oh, okay, now I can learn. And then I had some kids, so that kind of changes things. Okay, we got to put it on hold again because now we got to raise the masses.
Whoa. How do I give you a wrench, Ron? I don't even know how to do it. Do I have to do it from my phone, I think? Well, and the thing is that let me just try to see if I can do this real quick. I don't know how to do it. I'm sorry, Ron. YouTube. I'm in YouTube. I don't know. Shouldn't I just be able to highlight your name on my YouTube, on the YouTube feed? I thought that's how we did it. Let's see. It's just saying actions, report or block. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The,
Okay.
I will figure it out one of these days, Ron. Give me a minute. Might come to me while I'm talking. But so in 250 years, a lot has changed, right? But Aquarius is they want freedom, like humanitarian. They want change. Okay, so Saturn has already went in Aquarius, just changed signs. Jupiter's been there. All the other planets have been there. Pluto's about to get there on 2020 on the 23rd. And we're going into the age of Aquarius. Now, we can't exactly say when that moment in time happens.
No, because we have about 140 more years to go, because an era is 260 years long. And we are in, 2,160 years long. And we're in 2023. So we still have 137 years to go. But this can certainly be the dawning of Aquarius. Case in point of that is, it's not just that Pluto's going into Aquarius that is creating it. Pluto's going to go through Aquarius one more time, before we get to the age of Aquarius. Go through Capricorn one more time before we get to the age of Aquarius.
And none of us really know. The thing here that I'm trying to say for us, our spiritual community, and how we feel and think now, where we want to live in that place of harmony, everyone living in a peaceful, harmonious existence. Now, just because that might not happen for another 250 years, the thing is, we're the front runners of that. We're putting that energy into this atmosphere, into this energy. We're making it so people will think, is this heart-centered? Is this soul-centered? Or am I...
Yeah. It's like being in a restaurant on opening night, and the chef is presenting you with a dish that you've never had before, and he's not sure how it's going to be accepted because he's only ever made it for his mom, right? So how, we're I don't want to call us guinea pigs, but we're the trial run.
Yeah.
We're the 100 years from now, we're the generation that people are going to be looking at. I look at my grandmother's life and I think about how they did what they did with as little as they had. She was a coal stove, wood burning stove in the kitchen for heat, and a fireplace, and then a coal pot-bellied stove. And so, in her lifetime, she lived to be 102 years old. It went from a letter taking 2 weeks to get to California to internet. She went from close the window, open the window, close the window, open the window, throw the wood in the stove, heat the water on the stove, to central air.
And that was, what are you saying, about 100 years ago? So look how much we advanced.
Right.
So I see what you're saying. We're putting that energy. That's another thing with Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, or even any sign in Aquarius. It is technological advances. Who knows what we're going to be able to do next year with Pluto in Aquarius, but Pluto wants integrity. So he's clearing everything out right now that does not have integrity. Now, I want to see this hurry up, and I want it all to be all the crappy stuff gone, and let's move on. But it's
right. And so Pluto is going to be in the sign of Aquarius, which is Aquarius is I know, and Pluto is the sign of Scorpio, which is I love. Wait, yes, I desire.
I desire, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's I desire and I know, and this is how we're going to do it, and this is how we do it. And so we just got to trust and strut our stuff.
Yeah, and it all starts with us being heart-centered and soul-centered. Be the light that you are, be the love that you are, and never waver in that, which I know we're getting stronger, and a lot more of us are going to be waking up in the next 2 years, because the next 2 years is going to probably be the bumpiest for
well, we can say that, but when Pluto makes that move next week, March 13th, well, in 10 days, you know, he's only going to be there till what, June? Then he's going to start to retrograde again, and then he's going to go back into Capricorn until January of 2024.
I think he does that. Yeah, he does that for quite a bit. He doesn't go forward in Aquarius until November 2024. I'm sorry.
Don't ask me why I'm.
Yeah, November 2024. And so it's back and forth. But every time he goes back into Capricorn, we're going to see stuff like we're seeing now with the banks running. That happened in 2008 when Pluto went into Capricorn. The day he went in, the stock market crashed and they bailed it out. Well, like I said, we're at that 29-degree point right now, and we're going to see this for like the next year and a half, 2 years. He's going to go in and out. Now, it's not always going to be the banking system, but it's going to be any system that isn't in integrity, because Aquarius won't deal with that. Aquarius doesn't want to hear about it, and neither does Pluto. So they've had a chance, though, to get their stuff together and get it right, and they didn't. So Pluto is transform or die. That's how he's going to handle, this type of stuff.
Well, that kind of brings us to the asteroid Sedna, because she's about adapting. Let go and let live. I mean, her father cut off her fingers, for goodness sakes, to save himself. His will to live was stronger than his love for his daughter. And in her shock, she had to sink to the bottom of the ocean. So there was sacrifice. But what did she do with that sacrifice? She adapted and learned how to be the mermaid, learn how to be the mother of the dolphins and creator of the whales and the otters and the coral and the other fishes of the deep, dark sea. And her hair turned to coral. And, she adapted and had a better life in so doing.
Well, let's say this about all the asteroids. All the asteroids are based on either Greek or Roman mythology. And this is how we get the flavor of that energy. Same with the planets. They came from a certain, and this is how we know. And over time, since the beginning of time, man has been watching the sky and will tell you what the actual flavor of that energies are when it's in Scorpio or Cancer or whatever. And these really do resonate, like these mythological stories, because there's so many.
Don't you find that they're like the nitty-gritty of life? The asteroids are. And let me also add that the newer asteroids that are now being named are stepping back away from that fraternal, paternal father figure, Greek, Roman mythology, And as Sedna is Inuit, as Manway is Hawaiian, as all these newer asteroids that are being named and coming into greater use among astrologers in the instinctive astrology, there's a better word than that, but it's the kind of astrology that we really practice. Mm-hmm. Because it happens, things change, they change quickly.
Yeah.
And with these asteroids, what are asteroids? They're boulders in the sky, but you can also look at them as pebbles compared to the size of the planets, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like riding on a 10-speed with a 1-inch tire and getting stuck in the gravel and having everything go out from underneath you and landing on the ground and scraping up everything, right? So that's the nitty-gritty of life, the things that get you when you least expect it.
And it's really hard to keep. It's hard enough to keep track of the planets, the regular planets, but when we add the asteroids, but they're so important right now. Like all the female asteroids are goddesses. This is Sedna's an Inuit. Tragic story. They're all tragic stories, but the energy that goes with them when they're named, it's amazing how it does energy show themselves to be that. Like Pluto was founded when nuclear energy was founded. That's why Plutonic, he has that name. He has that, he will annihilate you. He has, and a lot of people are afraid of him, but Pluto's actually our good friend, especially for people like us who are heart-centered and soul-centered, because he's got our back. It's those that aren't and that are nefarious that are going to have a problem with Pluto. But it's just, if you like to read about mythology and learn all this stuff, it really is fascinating, because you can't believe how it appreciates with. I can't even get the word. When they spotted Uranus, what was it that was in the sky? Because Uranus rules Aquarius. Uranus is shocks and surprises. Something went on. I wish I knew everything that happened. The year they found it, and this is how they name these planets. And these are,
wasn't it Benjamin Franklin?
Was it him? I don't know.
I can't remember.
There's so much to it.
He had that key hanging from a kite.
Yeah, it's just it's fascinating. So
it is.
Let's go to real quick. So we had the Virgo full moon.
Yeah.
An hour later.
That was back on the 7th.
That was the 7th.
Also, on the 3rd, we had Mercury slip into. What did he do on the 3rd? He did something on the 3rd to change.
I got it. It was the 2nd. He conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, but that's a little maybe too much right now. I'm not trying to say that.
No, but that was like we started out the month right off the bat with changes, is what I was.
Oh yeah, and we had the conjunction with Venus and Jupiter. That was the other one. So it started out with really beautiful energy, because when Venus and Jupiter are together, Jupiter expands things. Venus is what you love, is about all the things you love. So we started out with that. Then we had that full moon in Virgo, which was saying, okay, what's not working for you anymore, because we have to clear it up. We need the details all lined up, because Virgo is all about the details. They want to know how to make it go in order, right? Hour later, we get Saturn in Pisces. So now we are, and we're getting ready to go into, well, I'm just going to go with, we have the equinox on the 20th, when the sun changes to Aries. Let me say this now too. With the sun in Pisces, this right now, that is, okay, and Saturn just went into Pisces. We can connect to spirit really quick. Our downloads would become more frequent. our abilities, our psychic abilities, and our intuition is just off the charts. So just always, I don't know about y'all, but I'm always talking to my guides and higher self. I'm getting so much confirmation, like in the moment. It's awesome, and that's going to continue to happen because Saturn's going to be in Pisces for 3 years. Okay, now the sun is going to change on the 20th to Aries, and that equinox is actually that's the new year, the astrological new year, especially this year because January we had so many planets. We had Mars and Mercury in retrograde, which Mercury is just coming out of shadow tomorrow. He's going past, that's the first time he's getting past, did I say Mercury? Mars. Sorry, Mars. So Mars in Gemini is going to 25 degrees, where this is the first time he's there, okay? So in this whole time since August, it's been, what have you been thinking about doing? Because Mars wants to do.
Right, and that's where I wasn't very clear the other day when I was on Gail's show. So I could clear that up right now. I said something about him being there for 17 months. That's not true. When he gets into Cancer, it's not that he's going to be there for 17 months. It'll be approximately 17 months before he comes back to Gemini and into that Cancer again, because it takes him about 17 months to go around them.
Okay, so second round. Yes. So on the 25th of March is when Mars enters Cancer. Now that's going to be a really good energy too, because we'll have Saturn in Pisces, everything connected to God, Pluto in Aquarius, thinking outside of the box, and Mars in Cancer, who's going to feel it, wants to feel where, because this is how we have to know where we want to go. We have to feel into it. We have to feel our heart and our soul and determine what is in our best interest, where to go, right?
Right, because Mars is the planet and he's co-ruler and the antiquity ruler of Scorpio, co-ruler now with Pluto, but he controls Mars on his own. I mean, Aries on his own. Mars does,
yeah.
So Aries is I am. He controls the brain. And then we have him going into Cancer, who is I care. I nurture. And so now he's going to be trying to find a way to take action to nurture, to help where the emotions are wild. Where should I delegate? Where should I send help? These are things that you can look out for in your own chart. How does that affect your own blueprint? What house, what sign is your Mars in? Now, when we later in April, when we have that the new moon, that's going to be a solar eclipse. The full lunar eclipse.
Yeah, it's going to be the second new moon in Aries, and it's a lunar eclipse. That is going to be off the charts.
Okay, it happens at 29 degrees and 50 minutes. Guess where my Mars is? 29 50 minutes in Taurus. So as a fixed sign, I'm going to feel it because my Mars is at the same degree at which that that blocking out of the sun is exact.
And what are you going to do? Like when you know this is happening in your chart, you take caution, right? You especially with Mars. Yeah, you stay out of the way. So and let's put this out there. If anyone wants their chart read, Diana and I's emails are in the description box, and we'll gladly help you figure out where your Mars is. But this is like all this energy in March And then we have the equinox, we have the new year, we have the sun changing signs, we have a new moon in Aries. And then next month we have that new moon in Aries. The first one is 0 degrees. The second one is
Yes.
9 degrees.
So
And
it's
that
the
is
beginning
the,
and the end.
month.
Right?
It's going to go boom. So
Right.
this
Right
is
right on an eclipse. The
on an
ending, right
eclipse.
on an eclipse. Only
So
10
this
minutes
is,
left of arc,
yes.
you know, astrological arc in order to, oh my gosh. I mean, I really feel that I'm going to have a place. It will be kind of spelled out for me where I'm going to be
Yeah.
taking it.
And that's true too. Like your chart always gives you indicators of where you're heading. And of course, you know yourself and you know what you're working on. So you can figure it out. But it we're having these talks because we're gonna have a couple more because of all this Pluto changing, going into 0 degree Aquarius, back to 29 Capricorn. Those are, every time that happens, it's gonna like hit a wave on Earth because they're hard turns. It's only a degree, but it's Pluto, and Pluto is boom, I'm here. Boom, I'm here. So we wanted to help everyone understand, because I know I've heard, and I'm sure Diana's heard, what's going on? Everything's crazy. All this is happening. What is happening? And I can empathize. But if you know the astrology or what's coming and what's going, you can say, okay, I can breathe into this and I can stabilize my energy, work on what's in my vicinity, my purview, and keep myself above water. It's those who don't know that they get hit with those waves, and the next thing they know, they're tumbling out to sea, because these are going to be hard hitting things. I just wanted to say hi to Teresa, hi to Sharon Sipe, hi to Sun Psychic Jean, hi Sun Psychic Jean. I thought I missed somebody. Yeah, Jean said, "Oh, that's where they get the saying off the charts, off the astrological." Yeah, yeah, because it really, really is that way. It is. We saw 2019 with that stellium in Capricorn with Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, and a couple months later, a pandemic started. So since then, the astrology has been just one hit after another. But then this month was coming, and this month is the one that you're going to see how strong and stable you are in your spirituality, especially for people like us, because we are heart centered. We are looking around going, oh my God, what's going on? Everybody's crazy. But there's we kind of know what's going on, but it's going to challenge each and every one of us in a different way. So it's that eclipse in April, the second new moon in Aries at 29 degrees. And then May 5th, we have the last eclipse in Scorpio. And that's really going to level the playing field on a lot of things, I think, in the external world. What do you think?
And that new moon that's going to be at 0 degrees, this is a change because the new moons up till this point for the past 5 months, 6 months, have been at 1 degree. Just as the full moons have been at 16 degrees.
Yeah.
So May 5th one, won't that will also be the final 16 degree, right?
I'm not sure on that. I have April.
Which is
Libra's full moon is the last one I have. I'll look it up though. So that's a full moon, right? Yeah.
in Libra?
No, that's a full moon. Yeah, Libra in April, but in May it's going to be Scorpio.
Oh, okay.
So let's see. I'll look it up. But
well, that 16 degrees is kind of like just over the crest of the point of Thales, which is the center of it all, right? So just ebbing down.
They're not giving me a degree. It is May 5th. It's a full moon.
Yeah, my journal book doesn't do that.
So hard to get degrees, even online. Like when
Yeah,
you're,
what did they change? They
I
changed
don't
something
know.
that used to be so much easier. Now I don't know the proper language to use. Blame me.
Here we are, just going up. Uh, well, I can't see it, but
Now, the reason why degrees are important is because
very
anything
important.
that you have in your chart that is at that degree, let's say it's in an air sign. So anything that you have that's in an air sign or a fire sign will be lit up because those are complementary. Anything that is in the opposite, say earth or water, will also be lit up, but they'll be lit up in a different direction. And let's say it's something that travels quickly. So you might feel it, if it's Mercury, you might feel it on Tuesday, and by Wednesday, the energy has changed. But if it's Pluto, who's moving so slow, like right now, I'll use myself for an example. Pluto is conjunct my Jupiter in Aquarius. Now, my Jupiter in Aquarius is a baby Aquarius. It's only 1 degree in a few minutes. So it's like I can always give myself permission to do whatever I want to do. I'll just expand it. And now Pluto's coming and putting me in check because now he's conjunct, and I have found myself stopping and thinking about the things that I really need to change because I'm not 16 years old anymore.
And I think we're all thinking that on some level, right? That Scorpio full moon is at 1457. So, and then it goes slowly 1 degree less as time goes on. But those, we had 7 months of 16 degrees and 6 months of 1 degree new moons. That meant something. That means something. And degrees do mean something. 7 usually means spirit. 1 is about yourself. And even though it might not be that exact degree in your chart, there's an orb. There's like so many degrees on either side of where it could still affect you. And and each degree does have specific meanings, so when you know your chart, this is why we try to encourage everyone to get there, have us look at your chart or look up your chart. You can get a free natal chart and on astro.com all day.
Right.
Hi, Penny.
Lots of them. Hi, Penny. Lots of them out there to do that with Cafe Astrology. You can get a chart. AstroSeek, you can get a chart. That's another free app you can get. And that eclipse at 29 degrees and 50 minutes, that's going to light up my Mars at 29 degrees and 50 minutes is
Wow.
what I was talking about earlier when we were talking about Saturn and Pluto being at that 29 degrees where they could see each other and working almost as if they were conjunct. And if you think about it, there was a whole lot went on last week when they were both at that 29 degrees.
That's what I'm saying. The bank runs. Just the bank stuff right now. We're about to see some what's it called? They're gonna charge or what's the word? Not charge Trump or those like him for indictment. And there's going to be a lot, and this is what's going to continuously happen. Though it doesn't have to be Trump or the banks every time, but once it goes 29 degrees and then the zero, then we're going to go 29. And this is 2 years with Pluto doing that, or just about 2 years. So there's a lot that we're trying to get stable in our collective, and this is going to show us where what's being worked on and what isn't. Now, that's the collective, and that's important because we are all one. We're all connected. But being connected to yourself and your heart and your preferences and what path you want to go down to is really important right now. It's best
And
to
this,
focus on yourself instead of looking out there right now.
and then isn't it showing us what no longer serves us?
Absolutely.
Because if it doesn't serve us, we can't serve it.
No.
Whether it's friendships, clusters of friendships, the way you set the table, the way you cook a meal, the way you snack after 7:30 at night, I mean, just all that kind of nitty gritty asteroid stuff that can derail everything that you're trying to do. And it just gets to the point where none of us like to have our buttons pushed. And if we find ourselves in a place where people are pushing our buttons because they get this delusional state, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Right.
Can't serve you anymore because what you're doing isn't serving my highest good.
Right.
So we have to look out for ourselves at the same time, which brings us back to that community.
Right. But that's going to happen a lot. Those buttons are going to be pushed. But that is spirit directing us. Someone's whatever's going on. And a lot of this that we've been seeing, let's just say like this, for the last 6-8 years, when Neptune went into Pisces, Neptune rules Pisces. That's as close to God as you're going to get. Now, some people had a spiritual awakening, but can still have a civil conversation with people. Other people are just, you can see the division because they're so disillusioned. And God bless them. I'm not trying to talk about anybody. I'm just saying we can see visibly what's going on in our collective. There's a lot of people under delusional, you can't see that there's something else happening here and keep hitting the wall, because there is a spiritual awakening happening. But a lot of people want to stay in that 3D structure of it only this works this way and at this time, or whatever the rules are. That's all kind of gonna blend in with Saturn and Pisces. There are no rules really, and what is keeping you connected to your higher self and your soul.
So Saturn is the foundation.
Right.
But what happens with the moon over water? The tide goes out, the tide comes back. And with its own natural flow of back and forth, it wears down the foundations, the rocks, the seashells, the things that are already on the floor or even on the shore because of the constant wave, because of the constant water coming and going, smoothing things out, making it slippery, growing algae.
I mean, it's true. That's what water does. It erodes things after time. So this is another question I have for you. Because it does feel like we're going into a huge change in, we all know that here, from third dimension to fifth or higher. We're going into these bigger periods of time where there is more unity, more things like that we're all looking for. But even with that, don't you feel like even the planets are going to upgrade too? Like they're going to be more than just, like Saturn, Father Time, get your shit together. It's going to be more than that.
So, yes, but this brings me to my thoughts on Pluto in Aquarius. It is the upgrade of knowing the truth of where the starseed that we really are, where we actually come from. since I was in first grade, because when I started school, kindergarten was a only if you want to go kind of thing, you know. And
Yeah.
I was sent to Catholic school, and Catholic schools did not have kindergarten, and you weren't going to go to public school in my house, not for even to go to kindergarten. So the only class that I really, really wanted to be in was religion class.
Hmm.
Excuse me, because I'm not a good Catholic by any means. You know, I gave up that business a whole long time ago. I wanted to be a cloistered nun when I realized they meant none of this and none of that. No, we're done with this game. But what did I do? I was talking to the angels all the time, and they answered me. And it's the one thing that is still happening for me today, for you today, for most of our audience out there today. We talk to our playmates, our pretend playmates since we were little kids, and we're still talking to them, and they're still answering us.
Yeah.
So where does this information come from, right? And you know me, everything has to be a deep dive, even if all I do is bring back one sentence, right? So you know I'm going nuts studying all of this just to come back with one sentence, and then I can't even remember the word eclipse, you know, because my stuff is just flying into my head.
It is overload of information. It is. It's like I got to know everything about this, and I mean, just trying to figure out the astrology is one thing, and then trying to communicate it to others. Like how do you say these things in a way that's easily
You
understood?
know what really helps, Val, is when we use the asteroids. I just did a chart for someone,
I agree.
and I put every asteroid I could put in there that's available through the app that I use. And it's just amazing
It is.
how accurate all of that was, especially when I got the feedback from the client.
Hmm.
Everything resonated with her.
It's the details, like you said. It is. It is showing us the details. I think the app I use, I can only get I think it's like 9 asteroids. There are how many? 40,000? 40,000 named asteroids. I mean, there's probably one in all of your names. If you went in and looked under, there's
Well, I know that
that.
there is one for King Poniatowski, and he's the Eye of Taurus the Bull. The
Wow.
Poniatowski star is, and that's my great grandfather.
And look, right there,
1750.
there's a detail. There's a detail for you because it does mean something. Do you have it in your chart? Have you seen where it is?
Yeah. Well, I
Oh,
know where. Well, my Mars is sitting on it.
wow. That's going to be so trippy. Oh my God. I'll talk to you all day for the couple of days that's going on because that is going to be, whoa. Well, it's not like we don't talk every day anyway.
I know.
But it's gonna be. I mean, that's intense. 29-degree Mars on 29-degree eclipse. That's ruled by
Intense.
Mars. Yeah.
But it's going to show me and everybody here. I know we keep bouncing back to that, and this should really be about March. But that is what Pluto is going to begin now in the display of what to let go of and where to go forward.
Yeah.
This eclipse is really going to be able to show that to you when we get to that. And then we have another one following right after that in May.
Right.
I think we only have 2 in a row at this time, right?
Yeah. Then in the fall we have 2 more, but that's when the nodes will change. The nodes change in July, but we're not going to pull you guys out that far because this is a lot of information. But
And
this
we're
is
going to be better about coming on once a month now, right?
Yeah, and get
Fine.
this clear. It's a lot. There's so much going on, and having this heads up is really going to have all of you, think this is so important. Think before you talk. Think, take a pause, take some breaths. Really get clear on what you want to say, because these next
Pretend.
couple months are really going to show you where you're even lacking in your speech, where you're
Pretend.
lacking in things.
Pretend every single planet is retrograde.
It might as well be.
You
Thank God
know,
it's not.
it is the time for preparation. And what do you do
Yeah.
with preparation? You take the time to cut the onions small. You take the time to cut the peppers small.
Right.
You even take the time to pull the seeds out of the tomatoes,
Right.
because you don't want it to be watery. So, and bitter, because the seeds can create a bitterness when you're cooking, right? Like when I'm making tomato sauce from scratch, I run it through a sieve so that I can get the seeds and the skin out of there and just be dealing with the juice and cooking down the juice. So this is
Same
take
thing.
your time. It's the same thing. It's read the recipe. If you know it by heart, still take your time through the steps.
Yeah. Take your time and breathe. And this is what, I know we're bouncing around, but this is important. What that Virgo full moon was showing us, it was giving us the first indicators. Well, probably not the first, but really pointing it out.
Analyze.
That's not the way you want to go. You want to go this way. But it was getting deep. The details are getting finer. I guess that's a good way to put it too, because they really are. Like the recipe is getting more, exact. You have to know.
And then it'll be time to open the
restaurant. Then what?
Then it'll be time to open the restaurant, and we can serve the perfect meal, and everybody's going to love it, and it'll be ratatouille all over again.
It's going to be quite interesting next couple of years, but it all starts really this month. This month is, that equinox and the Pluto change, and that those two new moons in Aries are really going to give us a clear picture, clearer than we've had up until this point. And we're going to know what's working, what isn't, what needs refined, what we want to keep, what don't we want to keep. And, that's all. You make those decisions through your heart, though, and how you feel. Nothing else. Analyzing something really isn't working these days. Don't you think? It's kind of hard.
And another thing is, pay attention to yourself physically.
Yes.
What do you feel at these monumental moments? It is easy enough to, Google to see exactly what time something is happening at your time zone, such as the solstice and the equinox and all of those things. And when is the moon exact when is the new moon exact? When is the full moon exact? What time is that at? What degree is that at? And pay attention to what you feel. Do you feel anxious? Does your body feel dizzy? Does it feel hypertension? Does it feel hunger? Does it feel out of control? Put 2 bare feet on the ground, outside if you can. I step outside in the morning to feed the birds, and most mornings I do not have shoes on my feet, snow or not, because it's 3 seconds to do that.
Right.
And it just balances my moment.
Yeah. I do that throughout the day. I have to. I have to constantly ground. Kate and I talked about this on our show, like the angel show. Ground into the earth, up into your higher self, and just see this infinity symbol, infinity loop.
Crystal, crystal, crystal. Have a crystal in your hand. Your favorite crystal, a quartz, anything, a stone you found on the ground that just speaks to you. It does. A stick. Yeah. Every stick has the potential to be a magic wand.
Right? And hug it. That is cool. You can make magic wands out of sticks, so I love it.
If Jen's here, ask Jen, because she and I taught at the same school, and She knows how I collected sticks with the kids all the time.
Oh, that had to be so much fun.
It was. But
Penny, she did that with you? Is that what you're saying? No.
Penny's my cousin.
Yeah, Penny's your cousin. I'm sorry.
Penny's my cousin. Jen is a gal I used to work with. She said she was going to be here, but maybe she forgot. Or maybe she's just, I can't imagine. She said, I'm going to ask you all kinds of crazy questions. So she must not have she must not have been able to find the channel.
I was trying to see tomorrow. No, the 15th. Okay. First of all, St. Patrick's Day, the 17th, is full of squares.
Yeah.
Be really careful on St. Patrick's Day. It's kind of volatile day.
Right.
Tomorrow, no, the 15th, Sun conjunct Neptune. So what's that? That is your soul talking to God. Pisces Sun and Neptune and Pisces are going to be right next to each other. That's magic. You can create.
Wasn't clear.
What's that?
What wasn't clear is going to make itself apparent.
And that's in 2 days. So it's a Wednesday. So yeah, this is a really good week. You know, see, we've been saying this for a couple months too. That information is coming through spirit. We're getting those downloads. You're getting the path, which way your path should be. If we've been listening, they are talking to us. They are guiding us. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have guides, right? But this is going to be, which day Sun Neptune is the 15th, Kate?
Yeah. And then it's still going to feel a little cloudy, but it's the kind of cloudiness you feel when the alarm goes off and you really don't want to get out of bed. You know, and you hit the snooze button. That's, you got to do it, and it's going to clear. But 5 more minutes isn't going to hurt.
No. And
but those dreams, especially, watch your dreams.
I was just going to say that. Dream Detective Kate. Gonna have a lot of dream questions this week, because that's one of the ways they communicate with us, and everybody's been having some intense, crazy dreams, Diana writes hers all out, makes pictures. I don't know how she does it. I don't.
Well, and then on the 16th, we have Venus going into Taurus, right?
Yeah.
She'll be in her home. She rules Taurus, she rules Libra, but she also rules Taurus. So she has 2 homes, and we'll be able to do more of what we want to do. They'll have a better sense of luxury.
Right. Venus in Aries is kind of like, this is my way, and that's the only way, or the highway, or whatever. You know how those go. But once she goes into Taurus on the 16th, she's going to be really... this is relaxing. Where's my silk sheets and my comfy slippers and
the bigger challenge though will be Mercury squaring Mars and Neptune and the Sun, right?
That's going to be
so that also happens on the 16th. So that's a matter of watch, think twice, speak once.
Yeah, keep kind of put that little lock on your mouth.
Yep. Filter. And they're actually very creative days. So if you can avoid
talking,
rhetoric conversation, avoid it and just go make something. Sit and crochet. I've got a painting. I'm doing an oil painting, and it's finally dry enough to go on and do the next layer. Yeah. So I'll work on that, and I'm also crocheting a blanket. So Penny, are you listening? Start draw in your journal and crochet.
And magic wands, right? You could make wands on those days. Anything that you feel feel motivated to create.
Build an altar. Start a 9-day candle ritual on that day, on the 16th. That will take you past the solstice, the equinox, but it will get you into that energy of Pluto going into Aquarius and Mars going into Cancer on the 25th.
Gypsy JJ, which day, for the creativity?
16th.
15th is when Neptune and Sun will be together, so you're going to get a lot of information and listen and watch spirit, the synchronicities. The 16th, you're going to get
how to activate that, how to
yeah.
put it to use, right? So then on the 17th, on St. Patty's Day,
the mouth.
yeah, we have Mercury conjunct the sun. And
Yeah,
so thoughts
Friday
now
part.
get out there, right?
Yeah.
We
Friday.
have Venus sextile Saturn, which is also okay because Saturn's in Pluto. I mean, in Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's okay with being dreamy.
She is, but is it all those squares are on Friday? And okay, let's say what St. Patrick's Day is known for: people drinking.
Yeah.
And you're talking to two ex-bartenders here, and we've seen
Yeah.
every St. Patrick's Day is always interesting, but this one is really going to be people
Troublesome.
ready to shoot their mouth off real quick.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And if you're prepared for that, you'll avoid green beer.
Yeah.
Right. So we
Do
have
that anyway. Avoid green beer at all costs.
right. We have the sun squaring Mars.
Yes.
We have the moon squaring Venus. We have Mercury squaring Mars. We have Venus squaring Pluto. And then we have Mars squaring Neptune. So when you're ready when you know these challenges are coming, these are the things that you can prepare for. What does a witch do? She doesn't change the problem. She changes the energy that surrounds the problem, and the problem takes care of itself.
Right.
So if they're hitting low with those challenges, what do? You go higher, right? You can't avoid the 3D world.
No.
But when it's there and it's just following you no matter what, you can still raise yourself to the 5D heart-centered light worker that you are and stay above it all.
Yes.
And whatever you do for yourself, send that energy to the person giving you the problem.
Or even out just to the world to help the world
stay
calm and cool and collective. Because being a neutral observer is everything, right? You have to be a neutral observer in most instances anyway.
Right.
That's how because I have a problem. I can say stuff I shouldn't,
No. Well, case in point, like, it is just being the driver of a vehicle and the car behind you is an idiot. Now, I live in an area that has a lot of 2-lane highways and a lot of country road. And there's no reason for you to be doing 65 miles an hour in a 40-mile-an-hour zone. And even that's too fast because this is a dirt road. And so I just send them the same sigil that was given to me by Raphael, and it never fails to slow down the guy behind me. And he can't see me making that. But
I do that with gold light. Anywhere I go any place I go, I always say a little, thank you, Mother, Father, God, and just put gold light on things if you don't know the sigils and stuff. Don't speed on Friday either. Speeding, because this what we're having are squares, right? And there's like 6 of them, I think.
Yeah.
Squares are when each planet they're having a little bit of an argument with each other. So they're playing it out through us. So people are more how those energies work. Any of the planets, all those energies get played out through us. So Kate asked, "Is this a good day to start project?" Yes. Lisa is asking, is it wise to search for an apartment since it seems like spring is a time people want to move because she wants to move?
Well, I would say with that Venus sextiling Saturn,
Mm-hmm.
Venus is about the home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Venus is about loving, nurturing, caring. And Saturn is about foundation, structure. It's about something that you want. Even if you can't go look at the apartment that day, it would be a good day to thumb through
Look,
and
yeah,
set appointments,
yeah.
make a contact on something you want to see.
And don't forget to write your detailed space preferences down. You know, a lot of times I just need a car. I just need a car. Well, you know, you can buy a lemon when you're in that, you know, that
Or
much of a
come
hurry.
home with a Porsche and you got no place to put the car seat.
And you have a 2,000 month payment, something like that. Yeah, no. Oh God, no. Yeah, and that's that kind of energy on Friday. Things can get kind of confusing, you know. We could go home with a $2,000 car payment and don't even know how that happened. So you got to be careful.
Well, and what did I do just before we came on? I want the Solar Fire app for astrology because you can do so much with it. And so I can't put it on my iPad. I have to put it on the computer. And I pressed buy now without thinking, and my whole computer went blank. It's like, I can't even find the letter that the guy sent me that said, okay, I got your money. Here you go. Like, oh my God, please give me my money back. It can't be sitting here for 6 months while I try to figure out how to work this computer. Because if I can't find it now, you think I'm going to find it in 6 months? Not unless my son comes and visits.
Right. So we go, oh God, why did I do that? You know, like what? I've kind of stayed the last couple of days to myself because we were having, oh, what was that yesterday? It was actually good. I forget. But
The 12th?
yeah, I was feeling the 29-degree Pluto in Capricorn
Oh, yeah.
hard. And when that happens, I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to go in for a little while, write some notes. I'm always listening to astrology and writing that out because that keeps my mind busy and it's a lot of details, right? So I can't really.
Yeah. Well, and we had Mars was squaring Neptune in
Mm-hmm.
Pisces. So that in itself is a little agitation causing a tempest
Mm,
within,
yeah. Yeah. And that's
right?
what I was feeling. So, I mean, it
Especially
happens to all
in
of
the
us,
day.
even people who know the energies in detail, like me, I'm writing them. I still get affected by them. It doesn't mean I don't. That's why
Mhm.
we think it's so important to come on and help everyone understand what we're going to be swimming through because it's like are we swimming upstream or are we fighting the current?
Right? I mean, even the salmon have a hard time with that, and that's what their whole life is about. Swimming upstream for that one moment, man. We had the sun squaring Mars yesterday as well.
Well,
So that's where the agitation began
yeah,
also. So we have Mars squaring Neptune in Pisces and the sun in Pisces squaring Mars
yeah,
in Gemini. So it was,
yeah. And Gemini, this is how we make plans. We think of our projects. We detail it out, right? And Mars and Gemini just wants to do it. Doesn't want to really take the time to put all the details in. That's again where Virgo came in and it's like, no, you really need to do the
mm-hmm,
details, or you're gonna
mm-hmm.
be doing the whole thing over.
Right. Because Virgo is controlled by Mercury, and Mercury also controls Gemini.
Mm,
This is another planet that has two houses.
yeah, and it's all
And so,
intertwined.
right? And Mars being the planet of action and Mercury being the planet of, wait a minute, I need to tell you about it first. Wait a minute, you can't move yet. Wait a minute. So this is why there's been a lot of that yo-yo, but the yo-yo was mostly walking the dog through all of this.
Yeah.
Mars retrograde in Gemini. Rather than being able to take action, it was a lot of talk. And a lot of it was not polite.
Right.
And a lot of it was not truthful.
Right.
But we know it's because that has been revealed over and over and over again. And we know indictments are coming.
Yeah.
And we know that Ukraine is getting help. And that England is sending, I forget how many tanks they said they were sending. 6 or 7 tanks. So
see, this is the stuff Aquarius and Pluto are going to really deal with. How come there's a war in Ukraine? Let's figure this war out in Ukraine. Let's figure out why the Syrian women or the Iranian women have no freedom. Like that's all that's
they have, right. And that's what they're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
No, not going to fly.
Which one? I'm sorry. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Taking away all of our freedoms, barefoot and pregnant, and the whole Roe v. Wade thing, and trying to outlaw birth control pills, let alone abortion. This is ridiculous. You can't even go buy a condom in some places. Are you nuts?
But you can buy porn anywhere.
Oh yeah.
Make it make sense, somebody. But
get them people pregnant.
Yeah.
I just have to laugh. Lauren Boebert's 17-year-old son's making her a grandmother already.
With a 14-year-old or something.
Yeah, I heard today she was 16, but who knows?
Okay. I thought she was 14.
But even still, were you ready for kids at 16?
No. I wasn't ready at 30. But there I was. And
that was coming out.
It's just so much stuff on our world, on our planet, that is just mind-boggling, stupid. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. That's not going to work with Pluto and Aquarius. It's just not. And even though he's going to do that in out for the next year and a half, we will get more of a level playing field for all. Aquarius is for all. We should all have shelter, food, water. It's not about, there's only these up here, where Pluto and Capricorn, it's only, you saw the top, they made more money off a pandemic than any time in history. And you're like, who would profit off a pandemic? But there's those types of people in the world.
There's going on.
And no regulations. Now the regulations will come back with Aquarius.
We should look at Zelensky's chart. I haven't done that for a while. He's an Aquarius.
And we all have Aquarius somewhere in our chart, especially, I think, our community, which I want to say thank you to. I love you all so very much. Thank you for coming out tonight and hanging out with us. We're going to do this. We're going to try to do this once a month. We are going to do it, not try. And
are we going to do
we're doing something soon.
The equinox? Yeah. I thought we were going to try to do a show on the equinox.
We're doing it on the 23rd, the day Pluto changes to Aquarius.
There we go.
Yeah. Because
that's if our electronics all work.
I know, right? It's going to be intense. And we'll probably do it this time, 9 o'clock. I like this time. Do you? Is that okay?
Yeah, I like it at 9.
Put that right there.
The dogs are quiet. The birds under cover.
Yeah. Mine is real quiet. Well, I don't know if we've missed anything. I think we covered definitely on the equinox. That is That's spring. Plant your seeds. That'd be good for you, Lisa. Plant your seeds for that equinox. Write that list out. Make that,
Right.
make
Right.
your
Start a
intention.
house. Like
Start what?
I live in Michigan, I'm starting them in the house. I got 3 inches of snow today.
But
Um,
seeds just
on the
don't mean
27th,
plants. Seeds mean your intentions too. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, no, that's okay. On the 27th, one thing else that's important is that we have Mercury and Jupiter conjunct Chiron.
Damn, didn't we
And
just?
that conjunction
Oh,
is all about the healing because, as we've said before, Chiron and Aries is an opportunity. This is opportunity for all of us to discover our wounded inner child, the wounds from past lives that we carry with us. And soon the North Node is going to be going into Aries. And when that happens, it's going to cast more light towards Chiron because Chiron isn't leaving Aries for another 3 years. So with Jupiter there,
makes
the
it big.
expanses
Yeah.
of the light, right?
And they just did Virgo, Chiron, and Jupiter. I mean, not Virgo, Venus, Chiron, and Jupiter was just a couple days ago, right? But you're saying
Right.
on the 27th, it's going to be Mercury, Chiron, and Jupiter.
Talk. And the sun's going to be in Aries by then,
Oh.
and will be at 2 degrees, 3 degrees of Aries.
Yeah.
And Chiron's at 14 or 17 degrees,
14.
something like that.
Yeah, it's 14.
14.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's like, it's going to, are you going to hold on to this still? Or are you going to learn how to let it
go?
And if you can't let go of it yet, at least you can write it down and really discover and really work with it so that when that North Node gets into Aries and really starts lighting up all of that, and the sun works its way back in there one more time next year, hopefully we'll all be in a place where we can let go of those little stabs that we carry with us from the past.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Right?
Yeah. Let's all drop the past. The past is the past. And for real, we only have this moment is all we ever have is this moment. If you're in the future, you're anxious or in anxiety. If you're living in the past, you're in depression. It's not worth it. It's not worth to do that to yourself. That's not loving yourself either. It's not easy to learn. And we're going to talk about this with Ron on Thursday. His channel is called Unconditional Love. But it's how do we love and accept ourselves? How do we just let things just drop? Let it go. How do you do that? Sometimes it's not easy, but.
Well, especially when, it gnaws at you because the rising sign has changed and it's in conflict with your rising sign, or it's throwing an aspect someplace in your chart that is like, at least it's only going to last 2.5 hours.
Right. And you can sit, like I sit with that when I get into a moment like that, like I'd have the last 2 days. I mean, until 8 o'clock tonight, I was kind of like, I knew I had this coming at 9, and I knew I'd be happier with Diana and all of you. But still, you don't know. Am I going to clear this by the time the show comes on, or am I going to clear this? But I always give myself that time because you got to go in and you got to feel it. You got to acknowledge it. You got to feel it to release it. It's not easy. I don't even know what it is. And I think that's where we get kind of stuck. Well, I don't know what it is, so I'm searching what it does. You don't have to know what it is. It's a feeling that needs to be processed. A lot of times it could be maybe from a past life. We don't even know, what's triggering us in that moment. It's not easy, but it's one of the best things you could do is get in your heart, love yourself, give yourself the grace that you would give others. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And we often forget about ourselves.
See, I don't see the 3 dots, Ron. I'm sorry. I'm still looking. Do you think I could do it after the show? Checking out my laptop. I'm just seeing when everybody's writing.
If you have
See,
a
you said
chat, you should probably be able to do that.
say
I
that.
don't know. Ask me. I don't even have StreamYard.
I don't have any dots, and the dots on StreamYard don't. That means I can block you or delete you, and I don't want to do that. So, but yeah, we get. Diana and I will be back on the 23rd when Pluto goes into Aquarius. You're going to hear a lot more about Pluto and Aquarius, but we can't repeat this enough. How
Be patient.
vitally important this
Act
is.
once.
Yes, think twice, act once. Pluto hasn't been in Aquarius for 250 years. This
Right.
is a whole new ball game.
Right.
So,
and that Mars in Cancer is going to want to run, and it's hard to run in water. Cancer is a water sign. And the same thing with Saturn.
Yep.
Saturn's going to want to reestablish things, and the water is also saying, not quite yet.
But the water's saving us.
Out.
But the water is saving us in this case because the water is bringing it into your feelings. Feel it, and slow down. Slow down while you're feeling it. So, those planets might not like being in water, but it's really helping humanity being in it.
Right. It's all about working with the energy.
Okay,
Because when
Rob.
you work with the energy, you can form and change the energy. Time is not linear. Time is
right, and that's what we are, right? We're alchemists. We're magicians. We're using energy. I really wanted to talk about this tonight. I know we're getting late in there, but we are vibration and frequency. And we can manipulate that by what we eat, what we think, what we say, who we hang out with, right?
Every number has a vibration, and every vibration is a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And every question you ask has a numerical answer.
Mm-hmm. When it gets deep, it does get deep. But we will be back on the 23rd.
It's hard to say goodbye, isn't it?
Ruby Red Slippers is here.
Aww.
Hi, Gypsy JJ.
Hello, my love.
We love you all, and we'll see you back here on the 23rd. Until then, remember, how do you say it? Think twice.
Act once.
Act once.
Think twice. Speak once.
Take that pause. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.